It's your boy Serge. So today we're going to talk about this new Alienware 17 laptop. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, what makes this laptop strong, what are some of its core weaknesses, and we're going to do an in-depth gaming test and play all your favorite games on this laptop. First up though, let's take a look at the overall design of the laptop and let's see how this thing plays. Let's take a look. We'll also talk about what this means for you if you're going to be waiting for the new Alienware release that's coming out. What makes this particular review different is that we're going to cover the design and we'll do in-depth gaming tests, which most reviewers don't actually do. I'm going to put all your favorite games and we're going to dive deep into the overall design of this laptop and just find out what makes it good. Really like that design on the front there. That little Alienware logo is kind of cool. 8.3 pounds, kind of heavy for a laptop. Got some nice cold metal on the front there. Feels really nice and premium. Kind of shiny, sort of glossy a little bit. Front metal rim up here, it's kind of thin and kind of hollow when you press on it. Here's what the logo looks like on the front. Looks really nice. Change it to any color you want. Same with these accents on the side there. You want it blue, you want it red, green, change it to any color you want. It looks freaking awesome. Overall though, really rugged design, very sturdy. Here we have the subwoofer. We have front-facing speakers on the side. We have some nice rubber feet. These rubber feet are actually really impressive. They stand the laptop up very high and they're very sturdy, and you're not going to be able to remove them very easily because they're really just kind of planted on there. Also, the screws can be removed very easily because it's just a normal screwdriver. Nothing special there. Designed for easy upgrades. Remove this back panel here, access the RAM and hard drive. Pretty nice that they actually made it simple to upgrade. I really like that. Here's where you have the GPU and the CPU. The hot air vents outward and then also gets the air from the very bottom. So when you open up this laptop, it's actually pretty hard to open up with one hand. Kind of annoying how you still have to use two hands to open up the laptop. I guess it's not that big of a gripe, but I find it a little bit annoying. You also have the power button there that glows. Change it to any color as well. So the actual screen itself is extremely light and very flexible. I think it's pretty secure. I don't think you need to worry about it ever breaking, but it's probably one of the most flexible screens I've seen. So when the laptop's off, it looks pretty mute. But once you turn it on, the whole thing lights up. You got backlit keyboard, you got logos on the back and in the front glowing. You have these two LED strips on the front. They just look really nice. You have the HDD indicators at the top left there. The edges feel really nice and premium and the corners are cut off a bit. Let's take a look at the I/O. A headphone port, microphone, two USB, a lock port, and the charging connector. Here on this side we have Ethernet, USB, Thunderbolt and USB-C connection, and an SD card slot. Here's the front. That's where you have the front-facing speakers. And then again, you saw the subwoofer that was muffled under it. Kind of annoying, but they did design it that way, so we'll just have to make do for now. In the back we got two more screws, we have the vents, and the graphics amplifying port, HDMI. Let's pop this open and take a look at the hinge. So the hinge of the actual laptop that holds up the screen, it's very secure, and I like the way it looks. It's kind of like a cylinder that tapers off. It's a really nice look and it matches the laptop very well. Overall, the build quality is top notch on this laptop. They do use a lot of plastic components and a little bit of metal, but it's probably one of the most premium plastic laptops I've seen. It's really thick. I mean, this thing is 1 inch thick. I mean, look at it. One of the biggest problems I ran into was fingerprints and dust. After 1 day's use, it gets extremely dusty and it just looks bad. Something that's really kind of annoying is you have to use the function keys to dim the screen and also to increase the volume. Personally, I don't see why they didn't just add these as normal dedicated keys on the side of the laptop. I really don't like having to use the function button. And you also have a special number pad on the far left that can be customized to do anything you want. I gotta say, when it comes to branding, I don't think I've ever seen a laptop brand itself so much. You have the logo on the front, you have the logo on the back, you have the Alienware text on the front. it's like, man, you really know that this is an Alienware laptop right when you see it. There's just nothing like it. You can even change the color profile of your laptop, change the front LED strips, change the keyboard, you can change the Alienware text logo, you can change the two Alienware heads, any color you want. You can make it oscillate, you can make it flash, you can make it switch between two different colors. It's actually a really kind of fun setup. Here I have a rainbow setup, got pretty much all the colors, and then we have some flashing colors on the side. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it looks great. Alright, so let's talk about gaming. So this laptop's got the 970M, and it is really impressive. i7, we have 8 gigabytes of RAM, SSD, and then the 1 terabyte hard drive. Hands down, the 970M can play any game you guys throw at it, and it's gonna run it on pretty much high graphics. Really impressive. I've tested Rust, Ark, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, pretty much most popular titles have been tested in this particular video. So feel free to skip around, look around, try to find the game that you're looking for. And if there's a particular game you guys want me to test, leave a comment down below. If I get enough comments, I will do a part 2. So let's take a look at the gaming performance. Let's get logged in here and play some Counter-Strike. With Counter-Strike, you really didn't run into any issues at all. The game ran pretty much flawless at 4K resolution, max anti-stropic, anti-aliasing, all that maxed out. The thing is, at the 4K resolution, you're going to be running roughly around 40, 60 FPS. Occasionally, it could dip to 38 or 35. That's why I recommend to drop it down to 1080p, because at 1080p res, it's going to still look great and it's going to play even better. Look at my FPS jump to 150, 160. Just play at 1080p res and keep everything else maxed out, and you'll be golden. On League of Legends, you won't need to worry at all. Max the graphics out, play at any resolution you want. The game will run flawless regardless of the graphical settings. If you guys have any questions about laptops or this particular laptop, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below, because I am answering all your guys' questions. Thanks for sticking around. Fallout 4 is a much more demanding game. Running at 1080p with ultra graphics, you're going to be getting around 38 FPS, sometimes 35, mostly around 40 to 60 depending on what you're doing. Now, I would say leave it at these settings and don't mess around with it too much because it's still going to work good. You're still going to have eye candy and you're still going to enjoy the game at this graphical setting. Dota is a game you will not need to worry about. Max the game out at any graphical setting you like and just play it and enjoy it. World of Warcraft ran really well at 1920 by 1080. I even tested it out at 4K and did not even see a significant frame drop. Now, I had some kind of weird glitch where I couldn't display the frame rates here, and I had that same problem earlier on the previous test, but I think you will not have any issues playing this game on maxed out graphics. Worst case scenario, if you're doing a raid and there's tons of people, you could drop it down to medium at like 1680 by 1050, but I don't even think you'll have to do that because it runs flawless. With World of Tanks, you're going to be able to run the game maxed out. I'm telling you, maxed out at the epic resolution. You could even play with a really, really nice maximum detail and have no issues whatsoever. Turn the graphics up, play the game, and enjoy it. My advice to you though is if you have the money, grab yourself the 980M because it's going to give you even more performance. I did not think the 970 would perform this well, but it did, which is really, really awesome. So keep that in mind. You can play Natural Selection 2 on max graphics, but only at 1920 by 1080p. So you can have the ambient occlusion, you can have the anti-aliasing, and the game will run really, really well. I was actually surprised that this indie developer game was actually fairly optimized. However, it is kind of old now, but so is Ark Survival and so is Rust, and those games ran like crap. So keep that in mind. We're going to be playing those in a little bit. So Minecraft ran really poorly initially, but there's something that I figured out, and thanks to one of my subscribers, they told me that some games will start up on integrated graphics. In which case, what you'll want to do is, if you notice your performance is really bad, right-click on the game and boot the game with dedicated graphics. If you don't have the option to right-click, like you're in Steam, for instance, go into your NVIDIA software and make sure that it forces the GPU all the time. That way, it doesn't matter what application you're running, you can play the game with your dedicated graphics chip instead of using your integrated graphics on the CPU. It really didn't matter what I did. I could not get Arc to run right. I mean, I could run the game at like 30 FPS on high graphics, but it ran kind of poorly, I think. I'm not sure why. I forced the GPU to run on the dedicated graphics, and it still just, it doesn't work right. I don't know what's going on, guys. If you have any idea on how to get Arc working correctly, let me know. I spent a couple hours looking online. I just couldn't figure it out. I don't know what's going on with that. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys know how to optimize the game. It seems like people are still having issues with it. I do have some good news about Rust though. Rust actually ran a lot better.
Because I was like, oh, he's recording.
I'm recording now.
Hey, SERGE's YouTube subscribers.
Say hello, everybody. Zooming right in on her face.
You
Focus.
zoom on my face and you're gonna find out what's gonna happen to your face. God damn it.
Options, high, 1490 by 900. Game still runs like absolute crap. Here I'm showing you how to force the GPU to run instead of the integrated graphics. Take a look here. Just open up your NVIDIA control panel, and from there, you're going to go into global settings and choose the high performance NVIDIA processor.
I think Aaron should do a food channel.
Very impressed with the performance in Grand Theft Auto. I was able to run the game at max graphics, max, I'm telling you max, except for the resolution at 1980 by 10 or 1920 by 1080. So I put that resolution down to that point because it was manageable. I can run the game at 60 to 90 FPS. I could have the long shadows. I could have, you know, the ultra, the very high textures and everything. It just looks amazing. I love this game and it runs really well on this laptop. You won't have any issues, guaranteed. I have a question for you. Why are you considering this particular laptop? Have you checked out the other brands out there? Me personally, I feel like Alienware gives you a lot of specifications for their money. So you look at other brands, they don't nearly give you as high specifications. Their build quality is not too bad. I've seen a few other brands that have thinner profiles, thinner bodies, but you're gonna have a harder time finding like a 980 M graphics chip in there, or like a 1070 or 1060. Those are going to be a lot harder to find. Rust ran pretty decent. but I had to run the game at around 75% max graphics. The rest I had to keep kind of lower. Sometimes I had to bump everything down to about half graphical settings, but I could play at that 1920 by 1080 resolution, which ran pretty good, but just something is up with this game where I just can't max out the graphics. I'm not sure why, but take a look here. Here's the settings I got going on. And yeah, this is how the game plays. I think it's playable. Even when you bring the graphics down, Rust has been optimized to look good even on low graphics. Now, the story is different with Ark. Ark Survival looks bad once you turn the graphics down. It just looks bad. But that's not the same case with Rust. Do you guys hear a lot of shooting? Or a lot of people shooting up there. Whoa. Damn, it looks amazing. This game is beautiful. And that's Rust for you. So overall, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this laptop. I did review the Alienware 13, and I thought it was a great laptop. I liked the fact that it was small and portable, but it had that 960M graphics chip, which, while pretty good in most Ultrabook class laptops, I felt was somewhat weak inside a 13-inch laptop. So when I got this particular gaming laptop, I felt, you know what, it's got the 970M, it's probably going to perform better, but boy was I wrong. It actually performs substantially better in all my games. So there wasn't a game that I could throw at this that this machine could not run. It played those games really, really well, which made me really happy because what that meant was, you know what, I no longer need to have, a desktop machine. I no longer need to have an editing machine. I can just plug this baby in, get myself an external 34-inch ultra-wide monitor, and just do my editing that way. So me personally, the reason I wanted to explore this laptop was because I wanted to find a desktop replacement, something that had a lot of power, but also something that was portable, so I could take it on the go whenever I want to. All in all, I couldn't find very many weaknesses of this laptop. The thing that I kind of didn't like about it was the trackpad buttons felt really kind of mushy. I'm not sure why they were even there to begin with, and just the sound was kind of, it got loud, which was good. I'm glad that the sound can get loud, but I felt like it wasn't very clear, it wasn't very high quality, and I think it's time they start making these speakers aim towards you and not kind of like muffled under you or aiming. They're just aiming in a really weird area, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense with the overall design. When I'm looking at the laptop, I feel like aesthetically they just did a really nice job. But I want them to add a little bit more metal. So this front panel here, which mostly consists of like a type of, probably some kind of aluminum type of metal chassis, feels nice, looks great. Same thing with the front logo, the Alienware logo on there. But everything else feels kind of like plastic, which to me feels a little bit more cheap. However, I did hear that it was carbon fiber plastic, so at least it's a nice, hard, premium type of plastic. So it's probably one of the better built plastic laptops you can find around. I did really love the rubberized feet. I thought they were a great addition. They look great, and they keep the laptop really, really sturdy. Overall, the cooling solution was also quite nice. It kept the laptop fairly cool. However, it does have to exhaust a lot of heat, and when you're actually typing on it, or when you're playing games on it, it feels fine, but you can't really keep the laptop on your lap, which to me is kind of a big deal breaker. But I think that's more of a problem with laptops in general. They get hot, they have a CPU, and if they have a GPU, boy, they're going to get even hotter. So depending on which model you get and what kind of specs you get, it's just going to get toasty. I think regardless of which Alienware you're going to get, it's going to be probably fairly hot. But I'm interested to know how well the 980 runs in this Alienware 17. Also, and the new ones just came out recently that are going to have the latest graphics chips in there. Well, those are the ones that I'm really thinking about next. They should be out, I believe, maybe in a couple months, possibly maybe shipping in 2017, maybe a late release for 2016. Really excited about those. I really want to see how well they're going to play and how much more sleek and thin the device will be. Because let's face it, we're heading towards a future where our laptops are getting thinner. We want them to be lighter, and it's really kind of hard to do that with a gaming laptop because, well, you got to have a good cooling system in place to cool it. And that's going to require fans, it's going to require a heat sink, and all that adds bulk. So I think companies really going to start focusing more on just creating just better heat sinks, better fans. And it's the form factor and how they plan out the design it's what's really going to make a difference in the overall look and feel of the laptop. Well, if there was one thing I could change about the laptop, is that I'd probably want it to be a little bit more thinner, a little bit more portable. But overall, I think it works really well for me, and I would use this as a replacement for my iMac editing machine and gaming machine. A lot of people think, dude, you have an iMac, you're gaming on that thing? You're crazy. Well, the iMac is a good editing machine, therefore it can also potentially be a good gaming machine. But I'm looking to explore new options. I really wanted to get myself an ultra-wide monitor, maybe a 34-inch, maybe something like a 40-inch of some sort, and I wanted to go back to having a laptop. So I really thought that this would be a really good replacement attempt for that. Of course, you can't really replace Mac OS, which is something I'm definitely going to miss. If you guys have any questions about the laptop whatsoever, just leave a comment down below and I will be replying to all your guys' questions. What particular thing do you wish this laptop had? Well, do you feel like, maybe you want a better graphics card? Do you feel like they should put a better CPU? Is this thing just too bulky for you? Personally for me, specs-wise, I think they nailed it. The specs and the performance are top-notch. I feel like it's powerful and that it can do everything for me. But I really just want it to be even more thin, even more portable, which is why companies like Razer make really cool products, because it's thin and portable. The other thing I noticed was that the fan gets kind of loud. Now, I understand it's a thin, sleek gaming laptop, but they really need to work on making these fans a little bit more quiet, because they do get kind of loud. And yeah, I think it's great that you can pop off this back panel here, put some more RAM in there or replace the hard drive. It's really neat. But companies, I feel, should go further, allowing you to upgrade, the video card, upgrade the CPU. Some companies have done this before. I'll leave a link right here if you guys want to take a look. But overall, it's like they really gotta make this device more upgradable. I think that'd be really great. But one of the main reasons they probably don't do that is just the overall costs involved with doing that. And also, you'd have to make a custom GPU motherboard layout or whatever, which would be complicated because it's not like you have a desktop where one video card looks the same, feels the same, pop it in there and it works. Well, here all the dimensions and all the structure is very, very different from something like in a Dell Ultrabook, for instance. It's just completely different, so the costs would just jump through the roof. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you feel that this review was unfair, or if you think I should have added something, leave a comment down below. And again, I'm here to help you guys. So let me know which laptop I should review next. And if you have anything on your mind, let's talk about it. Let's leave this to open discussion. Are you going to get yourself an Alienware 17? Are you waiting for the new model? Are you going to get yourself this model? Maybe even the model before it. I always tell people, don't forget about the previous models, because they're still pretty powerful. They're still pretty good. And there's a great way to save money if you pick up like something older. Like, for instance, an Alienware 17, from a year ago, 2 years ago, you could probably pick up maybe for even half the price on eBay or Amazon. So don't discount the idea of looking for refurbished or used models, because they're a great way to save money.